Okay, well, hey, welcome to episode 2 of In the Morning with Stephen Ferris. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about my walk. Really wasn't too much different from yesterday. I went and checked to see if there was a new red Solo cup across the street, and there was. And so I went. And that was the first thing I did. Was I went and got my little bucket and my my tongs, and I went out there and picked up the red Solo cup. And there was actually an empty water bottle right at the base of my driveway. So I got that. It wasn't cut in half. There was a whole water bottle, and so I got that. And then I went down and got the red Solo cup. There was also a Q-tip that had probably been there for a year. I mean, it was flattened from being run over many, many times. And I probably had just missed that on previous mornings. But this time I went ahead and got it. I got the Q-tip, and then I went and got the Solo cup, which again had residue from like some kind of orange soda. And it seems like slugs really like orange soda, because every time I go pick up one of these and it has orange soda residue in it, there's always some slugs in there with it. So that's interesting. And then there was a green gum wrapper there, not from like a stick, but like the whole pack of gum. And I've seen those out there too. So I think it's the same guy. So I picked all that up, went down to the other end of that street and got a couple of other pieces of trash from over there. Then brought those back, threw them in my can. And then I started on my walk. Now the neighbor's mom, she was out there doing some weeding, but she was just like focused on it, not really looking up. Or was she? No, I think we did say good morning to each other on my way out. It was when I got back. That's when she was just like focused on weeding, and didn't even see me, so I didn't bother saying good morning to her again. In fact, I think at that point I had forgotten that I said good morning to her when I left, but I was like, she's just like engrossed in weeding the little garden that they're building out there, so I don't want to interrupt what she's doing. Anyway. Walmart shopping cart was still there, and one thing, as I left to go on my walk, I saw this little piece of wood. It was like a scrap of plywood, real small though, like an inch long and maybe, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch wide, and I think it was 3/8 inch plywood, so it was like, square from one way, but then like it was an inch long. So like 3/8 by 3/8 by an inch. And I picked it up as I was walking out to go for the actual walk. So I didn't have my little bucket to put a piece of trash in, But then I started like spinning it in my fingers. It was kind of like one of those little fidget spinner things or whatever. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool, And then I started to grow attached to it over time, just like spinning it. Like when I picked it up, my intention was to discard it in the trash cans at the park that I walked by, halfway through my walk. But by the time I got to those trash cans, there's 2 of them. So like I skipped the first one, because I was starting to feel that attachment. I was like, well, let's see how I feel by the time I get to the second trash can. And I actually paused at the second trash can for a minute, but I just couldn't do it, So I ended up keeping it. for the whole walk. What are some other things that I saw this morning? Well, I saw like a bunch of trash at the park, and I didn't pick it up, but there was another guy there with 2 dogs, and he did pick it up. I think he picked up like his dog's poop and some other pieces of trash that were around there too, all at the same time, but he didn't get all of it. There was like a bunch of trash and some puke out in the street, and oh, cool, I just got paid. I got a donation for filming people's sets the other night at the comedy club, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, back to the walk. I saw the Infiniti G37 out there again, and this time the guys weren't working on it. It was still parked up on the sidewalk like it had been. Nobody was around, so I went ahead and took a picture of it, and I think I'll use that as the thumbnail for this episode. But you could see what happened, like why they were working on it was because I didn't check the driver's side rear tire, but the passenger side rear tire was just like completely worn and had blown out. So obviously the guy's like going out and doing donuts in it. Why else would it be worn like that? You could just tell from the way it was worn. It didn't look like it was shiny from getting hot, like I've seen tires where all the tread is worn off just from regular driving because people were like, didn't want to go buy new tires. But this wasn't like that. It was like shiny. And I was like, yeah, this guy's definitely doing donuts. And you could see like he had to replace like one of the rear doors because he probably like slid into a pole or something. Just a guess, but anyway, then I kept walking, and I saw like one of the streets was like closed down. They're doing a lot of tree trimming, but I didn't see any tree trimming trucks today like I did yesterday. Sorry, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. And then as I was almost home, there's this one guy down the street who is, I don't trust him. Just because during the pandemic, I saw him, and I don't remember how it came up. I mean, of course, during the pandemic, everybody would talk about the pandemic. But like, I don't remember if I said that I was going to get the vaccine or if he just started talking about the vaccine. But like, I don't know. It was crazy because I had seen people online talking about all the conspiracy theories with the vaccine, like how I had the microchip in it and stuff like that. And I thought that that was confined to the internet. I didn't know people were actually saying that out in public. And so, like, I walk by and say hello to the dude, and like, he's talked to me before and like commented how he wished he would go on morning walks, like he needs to start doing it, but he never does. But this time he started talking about the vaccine and like Bill Gates putting a microchip in the vaccine and stuff. And then I didn't even respond. I just stared at him. And, so then it made it real awkward on purpose. I wanted to make it awkward. So I just stared at him. But then, like, he didn't get why I was staring at him. And he apologized for ruining my day. As if, he had given me that information and it ruined my day somehow. And that wasn't really what happened. It just made it so that now I don't really want to interact with him at all. Anytime that I see him. And he was out there this morning on a phone watching some YouTube video, or it sounded like an advertisement really, and he didn't skip. So that made me even more uncomfortable. And so normally I would cross the street right around that house. But since he was out there, I like went further down and then crossed further down. And, then I just got home and yeah, that was pretty much it today. nothing really new except for all the puke out there in the street. That was like the most notable new thing that I noticed. So yeah, I think today's going to be a shorter episode. I got back from a walk and I made breakfast. But this, well, you eat breakfast in the morning, so I could talk about that, I guess, technically. And, a lot of mornings I make like an oatmeal thing that's like oats. It has oats in it and a protein powder from Levels. Can I monetize this? And then I put in some chia seeds, which I'm out of, by the way. I need to buy more chia seeds. And blueberries. And you know what? I used to always just put raisins in my oatmeal, but then my sister started pushing blueberries, saying that would be healthier because raisins have a lot of sugar or something. And then I happened across this Ringo Starr interview. And I mean, Ringo Starr is in his 80s, but dude looks 50. I mean, probably partly because he dyes his hair and his beard. It's always jet black, but he still looks really good for his age. And he was talking about, I mean, obviously, if you know anything about Ringo Starr, he had a lot of health issues as a kid. And I don't remember what all the health issues that he had were, but he was saying that for most of his life he's had to take all these different medications, and especially as he's gotten older. And then at a certain point he started just eating, with every meal he would have a helping of blueberries and broccoli. And he said that doing that enabled him to get off of all the medications that he was on. And I was just like looking at, how good he looks for his age and everything. And I was like, I'm not in my 80s. I'm only halfway there. But if he's doing that, maybe I should do it. So that was just another reason for me to do blueberries in my oats. I don't put broccoli in my oats. Maybe I should do that. But anyway, I didn't have that this morning because since I'm unemployed, I've been trying to cut down on subscriptions. So I paused my subscription to the protein powder, and I've been volunteering at this farm, and they've started offering me eggs in exchange for volunteering. So I was like, okay, now I can get some eggs without spending my unemployment money. I can get protein that way. So I've been eating more eggs for breakfast instead of making the oat things. And I don't put blueberries on the eggs, but it's I always remember, I would go look in the fridge later for a snack, and I'm like, oh yeah, I had eggs this morning, so I didn't have any blueberries. So I'm going to just take a handful of blueberries now and eat them. Which I haven't done yet, but I think I'll do that after I'm done with this episode. So anyway, that was my morning today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let's see what tomorrow brings.